Steve with Elev8, and today we got a really cool adventure here with eyeball glass. This guy's glass is really crazy. The eyeballs are crazy. I love the characters that's going on here, and the eyeballs are just amazing. Really excited to put this out there. We got our Elev8 Dolls, Elev8 Brand Ambassadors program. Go check it out. Really cool where you can get some gear like this. You can also help us build Elev8. Get the word up out there about these really cool artists that we're getting out there. All kinds of stuff. Also check out Elev8 Veterans. It's really cool 501c3 where you can help us out there. Anyways, let's get in with eyeball glass now. All right, welcome to Elev8. We got eyeball glass here today, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be a part of this.
Yeah, my pleasure, and this is awesome. So first question I got to ask is, how did you get into glass?
When I was 17 years old, I happened upon a glass blower named Paisley in San Diego, and I he was actually a lamp worker that worked out of his RV, and I think at the time I didn't realize how crazy that was. But that was like my intro to glass, like seeing it, and I was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I want this. I want to do this with my life. And I kind of did some research and found a hot shop near my house where I grew up. And so not flame working, but working with furnace glass. And I ended up, my parents were like super into it. Like I said, it was time. So for my 17th birthday, they bought me like glass blowing lessons. It was like an 8-hour package at the studio. And then after that, like they were like, that's cool. Like we definitely cannot afford to like do that again. But I ended up like interning for the guy, and I worked there. And
how to do it?
And then other people that were working at that studio, people like Mike Shelbo and another glass blower named Chris Jeffries, really helped put me on a path to like a lifelong career of glass blowing.
That's awesome. And so how old are you right now then?
I'm 35, so I don't know how long that is in glass blowing.
I think that's almost half your lifetime.
Yeah, man.
17 to 17.
Yeah.
Well, you look real young. When you said 17, I was assuming you're like 25 still. So
that's an honor. Well. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. So how did you get your glass name?
Sorry, you cut out for a sec.
Yeah, how did you get your glass name? I see, you do make a lot of eyeball stuff, so I assume maybe that's it?
Yeah, so when I was, I ended up, eventually I ended up going to college for glass, and I had gotten through my school a scholarship to take a class at Corning. Wow. And I was taking a flame working class with Emilio Santini. He's the really famous Italian goblet maker who lives in the United States. And Corning happened to be having like a glass eyeball exhibition, like actual like ocular glass eyes. And this dude, Eric Goldschmidt, who's like runs all the lamp working stuff there, he had like actually gone to Germany to this town where they do, like he legit learned how to do it. And he just this all just happened to be happening during our class, and he's an eyeball demo for you guys. So he did this eyeball demo, and it's insane. It was, actually how they make glass eyes. And then I just like, for the rest of the class, I did like nothing but make glass eyes. I was obsessed. And, I had like a personal Instagram, which is Cat's Glass, my last name. And I don't know, it just seemed like all the eyeball stuff wasn't fitting in with like kind of that page. So I just thought like, I'll make my own page, Eyeball Glass, like an eyeball centric page. And that was back in 2017. And I just has, kind of stuck from there.
So the irises, like I find that to be one of the craziest things, is getting all the little, like, I don't know, lines in that and shit like that. That had to have been a real neat process to learn and refine through your career.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's something even still today that, it's still a challenge to line up the pupil perfectly. You're so off center. And I definitely can look through my page and feel like the eyeballs are starting to look better. And it's cool too, because like a lot of people make eyes. So it's really interesting to see like a lot of uh, other really talented glassblowers, like what their approach is to making such a, an interesting object.
Right, because it's one object, but it can be made a billion different ways. I mean, iris is
Yeah, literally.
do you bloodshot, not bloodshot. So
with Mirini, with twisty cane, there's just so many ways to do it.
yeah, I didn't even think of using marinis in it, and that's got to be a crazy process. So,
yeah, for sure.
wow. And then so you've been behind the torch for about 17, 18 years now. And what items did you really start with blowing glass?
So like I was saying, like I initially my endeavors were more in hot shop, but at the same time get a torch and start lamp working. So like in early days, I was just trying to make like spoons and just really the basics, pendants. And I didn't even have a kiln at first, like for the first, like maybe even a couple years. I remember when I got a kiln, that was like life changing. It was just so amazing as to and then from there, I started making like bubblers and stuff. Like this was before dab rigs. So like just the straight, like down stem, just practicing a lot of functional stuff and jewelry and stuff like that. And then as I went to college for, more most colleges are focused on furnace glass. So that was kind of my focus through college. And then, after school was kind of lined up with that Corning class. And that's when things started to kind of change.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you have any specific items that you cherish from when you first started that you still have with you?
Oh, yeah. I have my first like thing I ever made. It was supposed to be a shot glass. And it was so bad. I mean, it's all just like folded in on itself. I actually have the first like 3 or 4 shot glasses I made. And I always look at that just to see how far I've come. Because that was like the first time I understood glass blowing in that piece, like understood like the process, like blowing a bubble into the glass and transferring it to another pipe, how you do. And that was kind of like the beginning of what led to the rest of my career.
Yeah, and that's just a whole learning thing, is learning the glass, learning how it what's too much heat, what's not enough heat, what keeps it, all that shit. So
yeah, and you just got to do it every day and build muscle memory. That's the only way to get good at it.
Right. So did you have a mentor when you started out? I know it sounds like you got to work with some like Mike Shelbo, who's a pretty famous guy. Did you have somebody that took you under their arm real good?
Yeah, definitely. And at the time, Shelbo was just like some 23-year-old kid who nobody really knew who he was, but he really looked out for me at that studio. And another couple guys I feel like were that it wasn't like the greatest environment to like learn glassblowing in, but I feel like because those people were there, they really like kept me on a good path and like I don't know, kind of kept me focused on like where I needed to go. But yes, Shelbo, definitely when I was starting lamp working, I remember going to his house and doing a few lessons with him and just being like like somebody I could ask questions about. I'm sure that like what helped me so much, because this was really before like YouTube and Instagram. So you just didn't have like, you couldn't just look this stuff up. I know for sure, like one thing that dude like instilled in me was having this book, Contemporary Lamp.
Yes.
He refused. He was like, you have to read this. I'm not going to teach you anything unless you read this. And it's signed from Bondu. It says, Jamie, don't take any crap from Shelbo, Bondu. And this had to have been like, I don't know when there was only 2 of like a volume 1 and volume 2 at the time. There wasn't like the third one wasn't even out yet.
Yep. I remember that. And I that's how I learned to blow glass as well, because like you said, there was no YouTube or this or that. And people were really holding on to the secrets.
Yeah, man. Totally. And also another thing I remember was Shobo told me to go to the SCC Glass Conference, which is the Salem Community College in New Jersey, where Paul Stankard kind of started a scientific glassblowing program there.
Holy mackerels.
And they have a conference every year. So I would go to that sometimes, and I'd get to see like really amazing people do some crazy demos. And I think that helped expose me more to the greater world of glass as well.
Yeah, and there goes back to we talk a lot about how blowers get their skills, and it's the immersion. You can watch videos and you can do it, but if you can get in there and immerse yourself with an artist that's better than you, your growth is way more than all by yourself.
Because they spent years figuring out what they know, and then you're just getting to see it. And that's like you said, that's how evolution happens. We just get this knowledge, but now we have to grow with it.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So classes, you definitely went to some college for it, and then you went to Corning. Have you taken any other classes? It sounds like you got a little bit with Mike Shelbo. And do you recommend classes to others?
I definitely recommend classes. I really don't see a downside to it. I mean, I guess it could be bad if you were paying a lot of money for a class and it was a bad teacher or something. But I think for the most part, I think a lot of people will even share extra knowledge than they normally would at like a demo. Like if it's like a class, I think they're more all about sharing the knowledge. I've been to Pilchuck Glass School a couple times for Hot Shop, but have seen a lot of the flame working classes there, and it looks amazing. The facility looks amazing. Corning, I went to Penland School of Crafts, also in North Carolina. They also have flame working and Hot Shop. And I also took a class from Lucio Bubacco and Emilio Santini, both at Corning, and that is an amazing studio. And so I know it's expensive to take classes like that. And as somebody who, if I had never got scholarships, I never could have ever afforded it. But I really would encourage people, if you think your work isn't good enough or whatever, just apply for scholarships, because there's tons of money at Corning and Pilchuck and Penland. They all have Hot Shop and flame working, and
Wow.
You don't know what they're looking for. They might not be looking for like the best work. They just want, maybe you have an interesting story, or maybe they want somebody young. I think when I was like around 18, it was a lot easier to get scholarship because I was so young, and people just were much more like, oh, his work isn't as good, but he's young, he's got potential. And I think there's tons of money out there, and you got to just go for it.
And it sounds like you got to work for it though, because you can't just.
Oh yeah.
You got to find the grants, you got to apply for them, and you got to tell your story. And like everything in life, sell yourself. You got
to hustle, and you also need letters of recommendation for a lot of times. So you might want to be looking for somebody who is a mentor or another contemporary. It doesn't even need to be a good letter recommendation, but just the fact that you're willing to go through the process of finding someone who will like vouch for you. And you usually have to write like an essay about yourself, like you said, telling your story. And yeah, you do want to sell yourself, make yourself seem appealing to these people, and they will give you a free glassblowing class, and you get to work with a really famous glassblower most of the time. It's pretty great. Right. That's really cool, man. And that's awesome that you pointed out that, some people be like, I can't afford it, I can't do this. And they find the excuse that money allows them. Reality Absolutely. Is if you really want it, you'll find it like you did. You found scholarships. That's awesome. Yeah, man. You just nailed it. Yeah. You just have to find a way. Just don't, whatever you can't do, just do it. Yeah, you're your only one that gets in your way. People will tell you can't, people will tell you can, but ultimately you put up the barrier or break the barrier down. Absolutely. And where do you get your inspiration and creativity in your glass? I guess a lot of it is just kind of like a continuing, like a daily practice, like for me, it's coming in every day and making like a rig or two, and then even like accessories. Like for the last few years, it's been completely like eyeball centric. So it's just been like going on with this one thing. And I think it's just been really cool. It's like trying to refine my skill, get better, get like as good as I can. And then also like my daily practice, like running a business and all the people I interact with on Instagram, people hit me up all the time. And I don't know, it's so interwoven into my life. And as far as the work, yeah, it's just been like a continuous, like line of work from kind of spawning from that eyeball demo at Corning, I guess.
Man, that's cool. What's your preferred style or technique that you really like to use in your work?
Well, I guess I'm kind of more into like sculptural work these past few years. I really like the freedom of like kind of bringing something to life. Like it's crazy if you just take like a rig that would just be a normal rig, but then you put, you know, two eyes and a mouth on it, and it's just completely, you know, it just has like a completely different life. And as opposed to as if this was just like the bottle. And I guess that process is
Next
really
level.
amazing. Yeah,
Really
it's just
elevated.
it just totally gives it life. You know, it really just you just like have a little friend now. That's your rig. It's just it's alive.
I love how the industry has just completely changed, because at first it was just pipes, and then
Yeah.
it was like a little inside out stuff, and then like characters started getting that on too. And it's just it's crazy what's happening now.
It's insane. It's just absolutely blowing up. I just went to Las Vegas last month, and it's nuts. There's so many like young, cool, you know, of all ages, people that are just like so into this and like putting everything on the line to like come and like sell their work. And sounds like people are actually doing really well. Like it used to be really hard to be a glassblower because it was so hard to like sell your work. But now you with Instagram, you just put it out there, and you like, people will buy it eventually.
Right. Yeah, it's you know, Instagram's one of those things. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes.
You do have to work it. You know, if you don't, then it's not there. But it's a real neat thing because you can reach out. Your world becomes really small.
Yeah, it just connects you to so many more people that you would never have been connected with otherwise.
Yeah. Do you have any periods in your career where you shifted from, say, you were doing just pendants and then you went to just rigs? And if so, what caused that shift?
I would say, you know, like more just the shift from focusing more on hot shop to flame working. Like I did hot shop. I worked at a lot of different studios here in San Diego, and then I went to college for a few years. And after I graduated, it just seemed like there was not really anything in hot shop. It was just such an inaccessible form of glass. Like, you know, it's so much more money to like light up a furnace and have it running 7 days a week. So I just really found myself with like not much else to go except for flame working. And it worked out that I had just taken that class with Emilio Santini, and I just was feeling really fired up. And I would say that shift was more from hot shop furnace to flame working and making you know, at first I think I was trying to do more like jewelry and stuff and not make like rigs and perfect, but I quickly realized that rigs are where it's at. Make rigs. That really started building up my following and like selling work and being able to make it into a career.
So it was almost economics that forced that change.
Yeah, for sure. I needed a job. I was actually working at Amazon at the time, delivering just like a delivery driver, and I hated it so much. And I had to have a surgery, a small surgery, but I couldn't do anything but stand. So I couldn't work for Amazon anymore. So I quit Amazon and I just did lamp working full time because I had to for that, you know, period of time. And then it just like set me up. It was kind of a nice serendipitous happening.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's neat to see how, you know, things happen in your life and then you Tai Chi them and make them.
Yeah, man.
What are your favorite items to blow now? Are they rigs? Are they just the eyeball marbles? Or would it be a pipe? Or
definitely rigs. I'm all about it, you know. Sometimes I know I should make other stuff too, like I want to make pendants or I want to make like bubble caps and stuff, but I just don't have the attention span. And like for the process of like taking a rig, if it takes all day, I don't know, it's like a process. It's not repetitive. It's like you start in the beginning and you go to the end. And for some reason, like the way my brain works, that's really good for me. So yeah, I definitely feel the most passion for making rigs. I enjoy it every time. I like never a second of it that I hate compared to like maybe when you're doing more production-y things. So yeah, I just feel like it's just like, it's like a piece, like a work of art every time. It's
absolutely,
you know, it's not like just a, you know, whatever, like production piece. It's like, yeah, you're putting your heart and soul into it every time, and it comes out how it comes out. It doesn't always come out how you plan.
Um, what's your favorite color to work with?
Good question. I have a lot. Lately I'm really into like North Star yellow. I love that
I
color.
hear that so much, man. It's I think it's the most popular color there is.
Yeah, and it's weird. I don't know why I kind of was all in on Glass Alchemy and Troutman for a while. I just never really dabbled with North Star colors. Not that I had any problem. I just happened to not try them. And then someone was like, "Oh, you got to like try North Star yellow." And I was like, "This is the most amazing color ever." um, and then another color I'm really into is dark blue slime from Troutman is another one I really like. That was actually what this rig is, and I just love like the
I don't think
different.
I've used that yet. That looks
Yeah,
really nice.
it's nice. It's a good color. And I know I'm gonna think of a bunch. I like lemon drop from Glass Alchemy. I love that color. Pink lollipop from Troutman is just like so nice to work with. I
Mhm.
know like um I know there's a whole like world of like $120 a pound plus colors that I've never delved into. I see everybody like I
That's
can't
too rich
remember.
for me too.
Yeah, man. Like those colors look nice. The telemagenta. I can't remember what that company's called right now, but that's too much for me to.
Oh, the molten aura stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That stuff looks nice. So I'm sure if I had tried any of that, those would be like all favorite colors too.
Yeah. With that said, what color do you say, man, you guys shouldn't even be making this. I'm not going to use you anymore.
Oh, a color that I don't want to use.
Yeah.
Um, um, I mean, I don't. I'm having trouble having anything come to mind right now. Like, I do have trouble with I think Raindrop from Glass Alchemy. They might have changed it, but it would always liver. Like it would get like a slight because I have a Carlisle CC, so it would kind of like reduce. But I've also not heard of other people having that problem. But pretty much as long as the color like isn't super stiff. Oh no, I know the answer. Just edit everything I just said. Here's the new answer: Blue Blizzard from Troutman Art Glass.
You don't like that?
Fuck that color. It's so hard to work with. It's such a fucking bitch. Like it's beautiful. I love it, but I have never worked with a stiffer color in my life. Like that shit is so freaking stiff. I hate it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Have you tried the red blizzard?
Yeah, that stuff's amazing. It's so soft. That's the shit. I love it. I don't know why the blue blizzard is so stiff.
It's got to be whatever is the color from red to blue, whatever. Maybe
The
cobalt. I don't know.
red blizzard's amazing. I love that color.
Um, what's the most difficult piece you've ever attempted in your career?
um, I don't know. Can you see this robot right here? Probably that thing.
In the back there?
Yeah, it's a big old giant soft glass robot. I'm sure there's more. A lot of my work in college was like more on the conceptual side, and actually worked a lot with projectors. I would use like video footage, and I would blow large pieces, and then even sandblast them and project onto them. So probably all of that. Like I had one piece that was I had used I actually kiln cast. So kiln casting is where you make a mold of something, and then like a silicone mold, and then you put it into a kiln and get it really hot and melt glass into it. And it's almost like lost wax method, but with glass. So there was a beach near my house in San Diego, and I took rocks from it and I made molds of the rocks. I put the rocks back. I cast all the rocks into glass, and I recreated the beach. So I basically, if you think about like trying to recreate a small section of like glass rocks, and then I projected the video of the ocean there at that spot. Basically, the idea was that I was like living in New York, going to college, and I was like, I guess I was homesick, and I was trying to recreate like that feeling of home somewhere else. I know that's like conceptual and stuff, but that was like a lot of what I was doing at the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research into that and try to find that out because it really looks cool. Like, I feel like I can only grasp so much, but it sounds like you were making a piece and then you were projecting it on the wall with your art in front of it.
I was projecting
onto the art.
onto the glass. Yeah.
Right. Man, that sounds cool as hell.
Yeah, dude. You could check out my website, Cat's Glass. It's old. It's from a few years ago, but I think there's some pictures and stuff on there of it.
Fresh. We'll try to get them and then post them over me here. Um, do you collaborate often?
I don't. I like never have collabed with anybody. I've like talked to a bunch of people who want to collab and then it never happens. So hit me up. I'm super down to collab with pretty much anyone. I would love to do it. I yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people are just kind of flaky is what it's come down to. It's never like actually come to fruition.
And people's lives are full, and then it's like, two blowers with super packed lives trying to meet
Yeah.
up, and then
That's the reality. It's just the reality of like being glass blowers and having an artist lifestyle, and people just don't ever meet up.
and are you a hermit much? I find a lot of glass blowers are kind of hermits, and
That's a good point. Yeah, dude, I'm super secluded. Like that's what I love about glass blowing is I can work from home. I don't have to have like coworkers and stuff. I can just like do my own thing. I'm the only one in the studio, and yeah, I am definitely a hermit.
hell yeah. Um, what's the most amount of time that you've ever put into one piece or project?
I don't know. Hard to say. I mean, I've definitely some of the pieces I was making in college where I was putting a lot of hours, but maybe even like, I don't know, tens of, maybe even close to hundreds of hours. But that was spending like weeks making, like casting those rocks over and over again. In the flame shop, though, most of my stuff I feel like is usually like I want to start in the morning and be done in the day. Like I just is nice for me if I can just like finish a piece and then be done. So I've actually never done anything like insane in the flame shop that took tons of time, but yeah, maybe someday we'll see.
It's quite scary, and it's that last end pucker where you're just like,
Oh
what
God,
happens?
I would feel so sad if I spent a week working on something and just like broke it. That'd be horrible.
I haven't gone that far either. I'm just
Yeah,
scared.
man.
Have you ever competed in any events or anything?
I haven't. I would really like to go to, I know it's not a competition, but in Detroit, what's that? The
Michigan Glass Project?
Michigan Glass Project. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm gonna go check out Champs next month in Las Vegas, I think, and they have the glass games there. I'm not super familiar with what it is, but I would love to maybe next year be a part of that as well.
It's really cool. I suggest looking into it. I'm not sure if the glass games this time will be live, but sometimes you can build it at home and bring it there, and sometimes
really?
do it there. So take a look. It's a lot of fun, and you get to talk shit with blowers and shit. So it's great.
Yeah, I remember seeing like pictures like before COVID of whatever year, maybe 2019, and it looked crazy. Like it looked really like the work that was being made was pretty insane.
I don't know how those cats do it. The pressure is too much again for me, but like the cup stuff is fun, or the marble stuff. Like,
yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Talking.
Yeah. So 2022, you should see me there.
Hell yeah. Do you consume cannabis yourself?
I do. I am a heavy cannabis consumer. Yeah, it's probably from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. I am a dabber.
Okay, so that was going to be my question, and it sounds like you prefer concentrates over flower.
Yeah, I don't smoke flower at all. I think as I've gotten older, I just feel like dabbing is a little healthier. Like you're not breathing in smoke. It's just like the vapor from the concentrates. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like dabbing wasn't even a thing when I was a kid. And now it's like everywhere, it's it. It's so much better. People have it so much better now.
It's the Mike Jones song almost. Before you didn't know me, now y'all want me or whatever.
Exactly, dude. Like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. How did people not think of this before like 2015?
Yeah, well, they had stuff. They just, for some reason, I don't think the glass thing was there yet because they had hash oils. It's just
Yeah.
the only way you just put them on your bowl and
Yeah,
light 'em
that's exactly. Yeah, I remember you have hash, you put it on your flour, but like nobody ever thought to like just
all
heat
by
up.
itself
Yeah.
until somebody came up with a nail, and
Yeah.
I don't know who did that either. That's gotta look for that information.
Yeah. It was all like titanium nails in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I remember talking with somebody, and their first titanium nail they used was one that the doctor removed from their arm or something.
Oh my God.
So it was all about fucking weirdos, right?
That's how dabbing started.
Maybe so. Um, do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
I am a pretty avid gamer. I enjoy PC gaming quite a bit. And yeah.
And what's your favorite game that you participate in?
Lately, I'm really into a game called Rust. It's like a survival slash like first person shooter game. It's incredibly toxic. I don't recommend anybody to ever play it unless you're like kind of a masochist, I guess.
Hell yeah. Do you use any of your own pieces, or do you use other people's?
Yeah, like this piece here is my daily driver. I don't have like a ton of my own work, but I have this is my girlfriend's piece.
Oh, fresh.
Yeah, so I just have a couple pieces that I've made personally. I don't have like any other people's work. I don't think it's just all stuff that I've made.
Is it all stuff that that cracked on you and became yours, or is it something that you said, I'm going to make myself something nice?
I've definitely had plenty of pieces that were like just like a second or something that became like one of my main pieces. I also this was my first recycler ever. This was like my main piece for a while. So it was kind of sentimental because it was like my first recycler. So that type of thing. But no, like this was a piece that like just at the time it wouldn't sell for what I wanted it to sell for. And then just ended up becoming I think my rig at the time broke and I just needed one and it worked out. It's probably my favorite piece. I made this for my girlfriend's birthday, so as a present. And but yeah, it's funny because a lot of people think that glass blowers all have like the nicest, craziest gear, but usually we have like a second piece that broke and we couldn't sell. Like that is overwhelmingly majority of the time like the pieces that I think people have as their personal pieces.
Yeah, because as a glass blower, like, you know, if you can get it, you need to eat, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, dude,
it's going to allow that.
It's so hard. Like I can't like most people, they can't afford their own work, you know. Like there's so many times I make a sick rig and I'm just like, man, I wish I could keep this. I have to sell it. I have to.
Yeah, yeah. What can we look forward to in the future from you?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'd like to get more out into doing things like the Michigan Glass Project and the glass games. Like I've never done any sort of like public demos before. I've never like taught any classes. So I would really like to start getting into doing stuff like that, like doing some more things, getting more involved with the greater like lamp working scene. Like I don't know anybody in the lamp working scene. You know, I go to the GAS conference, which is kind of the Glass Art Society. They have a glass conference every year. And you know, I go there and I know everyone, but then I go to like Las Vegas, I don't know any lamp workers. Like I'm so secluded. So secluded.
I'm the same way, and in reality that's kind of why I started this shit, because I'm like, I'm so secluded. How do I get to meet y'all? Because I know a lot of us are so much alike, yet we're all little hermits, like,
yeah, man, totally. We're all on our own little island and you are literally connecting them. I love what you're doing, dude. It's so cool.
Well, it's purely selfishness, you know, like, so because how else do I get to do it? So
I'm glad it's happening. It's cool.
Thank you, man. And me too.
Thank you.
Because this is a great time.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Do you find that you still have the same love and passion today as when you started?
Yeah, more than ever. And I think having my own business and getting it to the point where it works for me, like noticing things that would burn me out and getting rid of them. You know, like I don't do custom orders anymore. I only sell through auction, and I probably make a lot less money than if I was doing customs. but it was stressing me out too much. I couldn't take
Agreed.
it. I was just starting to like fucking hate it. And so I've gotten it to the point where my work is only available through auction. I don't work with shops. I only make rigs because that's what I enjoy making. And I just, every day, I'm so grateful. You know, it took a while to get to that point, and it's hard to tell people no. Even now, when people ask me to do customs, it's hard to say no. But you know, you have, it's your practice is more important. Like what you give up isn't worth it.
Absolutely. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I know when you're starting out, it's really easy to say, I got to take this on. I got to take it on. And that project, while you look at it, it's like, oh, it's only going to take 2 hours.
No.
Next thing you know, something happens, it's 3 hours. Something else happens, it's 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you're like, I told him 2 hours and it's 6.
Yeah. And you could have just made something that you wanted to make in that time and just sold it. But those are also lessons that we all have to learn as glass blowers, you know?
Right. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But I remember having like just the hugest list of customs that I had to get done and just being so incredibly stressed and like having experiences just like you said, like, oh, why did I say yes to this? Like, this is taking so much longer. And I think through learning those lessons, like getting to a point where it works for me more.
Right. And you're the most important in the whole world to you, because if you
Mhm.
can't make yourself happy, fuck making anybody else happy. You're
Absolutely.
not going to have a girlfriend because you're like, ah.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Do you have any shout outs or special thanks you want to give, or did we miss anything?
Yeah, I want to thank. I didn't mention that in college I went to Cal State San Bernardino, and my professor was Catherine Gray. So she's the lady, if you've seen this show Blown Away on Netflix, she's like the host, and she was my professor. So she's somebody else I really want to make sure I mention had a huge impact on my life. So, you know, Mike Shobo, Catherine Gray, they really helped me out and continue to help me out to this day. You know, all the other professors I had and all the other, you know, I mean, everybody has had an impact on, even just friends I've had in the glass world have, you know, majorly impacted my career. So yeah, shout out to everybody.
Hell yeah. And then where's the best places that we can follow you on? Instagram? You mentioned you have a website. What's best?
Yeah. Instagram is primarily it. I don't really have a Facebook. I don't sell my work in any shops. There is one shop in New Jersey called Happy Head Smoke Shop. He's bought a bunch of my work. I don't know. I think he's starting a shop. I think it's a new shop coming. So maybe if you want to, if you're in that area, you might be able to see some in person. But that's it. Pretty much Instagram. That's kind of my primary way. You know, my website was kind of my more conceptual work up through college. And I haven't touched it for years, but it's still there. So that's Cat's Glass, KATZ Glass. People, you know, happen to want to check it out, but I would recommend Instagram primarily, Eyeball Glass.
All right. Well, man, this was freaking awesome. I really want to say thank you so much for taking the time to get to know you, and it was awesome.
Well, thank you, man. This was a blast. I love what you're doing. I'm so honored that you asked me to do it. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother. Peace out.
Peace out.
Well, that was a ton of fun. Really neat talking with the guy. Really cool to see, you know, how he has grown throughout the years, all the schooling he's went to, and just seeing, you know, the transition of soft glass to borosilicate glass. And just I had a phenomenal time in this interview. I really want to throw it out there as well. Don't forget, we got Elev8 Veterans. It's our 501c3. Check it out. Go there and help donate. There's also some really cool packages you can get that our part goes to, you know, to cover the cost of the goods, but also part of it goes to help Elev8 Veterans. Again, also we got Elev8 brand ambassadors, Elev8 dolls, Elev8 guys. Go check it out. And really cool way to earn some cash credits, as well as help us build our brand. Get some cool clothes like this or some gear like this. Anyways, thanks a lot. Elev8, mind, body, spirit.